Hey, what's up YouTube? Goratha here. So today I'm going to talk about my build again for day 3 and 4. So the first thing I want to talk about is Frostblink of Wintry. So this is the Transfigured Frostblink gem, and it's kind of insane. It's basically like Leap Slam, but for casters. Now, I only recommend using this if you have a lot of cast speed on your gear, because it's kind of slow without it, and you still kind of want to use Slam Dash, because for bossing especially, you want an instant cast spell. Because things like Elder Suck, like Maven Vines, all this stuff will slow your casting down too much for Frostwing to be viable. You still want instant cast to break that type of stuff. But yeah, so Frostwing is really insane for mapping. It's very fast for movement, and it's actually pretty good damage as well. You could probably 4-link it and actually just clear maps with the Frostblink almost. Maybe on single target you still need to cast Frostbolt, but it's quite nice actually. Something to consider. You'd probably go for like Insanity Gloves or something, and it would be really insane. Which is like the cast speed, more cast speed mod essence. Next thing I want to talk about is dual wield versus a shield. So dual wielding is actually quite a bit more damage on PoB, and it is something I want to go for eventually. The only issue I have with dual wielding is I don't really have the suppression to go for it right now. I'd have to drop the helmet, which is really nice. I'd have to drop it for like a rare helmet. I might end up doing that. The reason why you'd have to do that is because, well, rare helmet can get 14 suppression, and you can also get the mastery for 15. So you'd be getting like almost 30 suppression just from the helmet alone, which would more than make up for the shield loss. So it might be something to go for eventually, but right now I haven't done it yet. It is a lot of damage, so it's something I'm looking into. It's also pretty good defensively. Like, you might think like losing a shield is a big deal, but not really. You get a lot of mana back because like weapons get a lot more mana than shields can. So it's not a big loss defensively. Also, I want to talk about the focus setup. You want to go for like double damage focus. Or, I mean, you could be lazy and use like double damage. But I think this build works really well with double damage while focus, because you have a lot of periods of time where you're standing still to do maximum DPS. This is when you press focus, and you have a lot of times where you're dodging around not doing damage. This type of playstyle will work really well with focus. You can also get focus cast speed as a glove suffix. This is also a pretty nice synergy if you have all 3 of them. Like double damage focus on 2 weapons and the gloves would be pretty nice. Might be something I go for. Probably will be going for it actually. Hyperthermia versus Intensify. So I've been messing around with Hyperthermia in actual game. On PoB, it's a bit worse than Intensify, but in practice, I think it might actually end up being better because you have better overlaps and you have the freeze and chill. So it's hard to say right now, but right now I'm testing out Hyperthermia still. The one thing I want to mention though, if you are using Hyperthermia, you want to be using the Cast Speed Mastery, Caster Mastery. And if you're using Intensify, you want to be using the Intensity Mastery. So depending on what stream you're using, will change the Caster Mastery. Speaking of the Caster Mastery, the 25% chance to open nearby chests is really, really nice quality of life. I was using it when I was delving. I was using it during Legion and Expedition. It's a huge quality of life bonus, and definitely worth like dropping some damage when you're mapping. Very, very good. Would recommend. After using it, I honestly can't see myself going back for that type of content. It just makes it so much easier to, all the chests is open when you're casting. It's crazy actually. It's so nice. Next thing I've been asked a lot is why no clarity? I should have been more clear about this in the initial PoB, but really we're only using clarity for the Watcher's Eye. Clarity plus arrogance is the tech. This enables Watcher's Eye because we cannot normally no longer like reserve mana, right? Because of the way Eternal Blessing works. Using Eternal Blessing, you can't reserve mana. This is the way the gem works. It's also always up, by the way. People will have a confusion about Eternal Blessing. It's not Divine Blessing, it's always up. You get 1 free orb, you cannot reserve any more mana after that. This is why we use Arrogance and Clarity for the Watcher's Eye, which I don't have yet, so it's not my PoB. Other thing I want to talk about is Grace versus Haste. So my last PoB, like my character had Haste on. That was because I was switching it on for Sanctum and other easy content. If I was playing softcore, I honestly might be using Haste for maps as well, but hardcore Grace is like too big of a defensive boost, so I can't really recommend it for that. Foible versus a rare amulet. I am currently using it in the Foible. I bought a Foible and I'm trying it out. You get a lot more recovery of Foible. I do think a rare is probably more damage if you have like a really insane cast speed rare, but the recovery is the one thing that Foible does have going for it. It's pretty hard to beat, honestly. It's quite a bit of recovery. The rare is a lot worse in terms of that. Still not decided which I prefer, but this is why I'm using a Foible right now. Most of my gear is from ROG, so people keep asking me how I'm crafting my gear. Most of it is actually ROG gear, like both my rings are ROG. I think my gloves are ROG. They may have been ID'd early on. My boots are ROG for sure. And yeah, a lot of it's just ROG gear. ROG gear, and actually the weapon came from the lead mechanic. I think the lead mechanic is really good for crafting weapons specifically, because you don't have to worry about suppression. You can target every mod you want with weapons. And after the patch, the lead mechanic should be the most insane thing of all time. They're adding like some crazy changes. If they all go through, the lead mechanic will be crazy. You'll be like printing T1 all stack gear that you actually care about. It's insane. I'm really excited for that. I'm actually concerned it might be too good, but too good is better than too bad, right? Like it's pretty garbage right now, so anything to buff the lead mechanic is nice. And some tree changes. So I did change the tree a bit. Since we're no longer going for energized armor, there's no real reason to path through this side anymore. We can path through the top instead. This gives us some chaos shreds and some ES hybrid nodes, which are better than these percent life nodes over here. That's the main reason I changed this pathing. And we get insightfulness. Insightfulness, initially I didn't really care about it too much, but it is actually really nice for the reduced mana cost. I'm having an issue where inspiration is honestly not really doing that well. It's always going to max and then instantly back down to 1. So getting more reduced mana cost will increase my damage, because I'll have 5 inspiration charges more often. Right now it's kind of a problem. Something to keep an eye out on. Yeah, that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about today. I hope you guys are enjoying the league. This is honestly one of the strongest builds I've played on League Start, which is saying a lot, because I've had a lot of strong League Start builds. Really happy with how this has turned out. I'll continue to update you guys when I end up doing more bosses and like min-max the character a bit more. Yeah, this is what I've done so far, and I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you guys next time.